I built AI agents that monitor what people are saying and doing on social media. They figure out exactly who's reaching out to who and contact them with messaging that's insanely relevant to what they care about, completely automated. Now, one of these agents booked 3 meetings for me in one single day with 0 manual work my end. And in this video, I'm going to walk through exactly how I set that up, the exact tools and workflows I'm using so that you can start generating this like clockwork without building a single static list or doing any manual work your end. So let's get to it. So the biggest mistake that I see with people making with outbound is they start with a static list. An example of a static list is a list that never updates. Once you create the list, it is set in stone. So typically you go to use tools like Apollo or ZoomInfo, you filter via job title, experience, location, things like that. But the big problem with this is it tells you nothing about whether someone actually cares about what they're doing right now. The only thing that you know is that they hold a certain title, they work for a company with a certain size, and so on and so on. You're essentially guessing that because someone is the VP of marketing at a 200-person SaaS company, they might want to hear from you, which 9 times out of 10 just isn't the case. And so does every other company selling to that exact same person, by the way. And I think that's why cold outbound is getting harder and harder, because everyone has the same tools. It is easier than ever to go get, these ZoomInfo, Apollos of the world, set up email sequences, and every company is doing the exact same thing. So in a world where everything is highly democratized like that, it means that no one really stands out as a result. And I'm seeing inboxes fail, they burn quickly because they get reported as spam. I'm seeing reply rates plummet. I'm seeing people get rejected on cold calling because there is just no relevancy there. And so this is why I think social signals has a huge opportunity to play. So here's what I do instead. Now is I let people tell me that they're interested through their own behavior. I call this digital breadcrumbs. And with digital breadcrumbs, I'm looking at the social signals. What I mean by this is, let's say Joe Blogs liked XYZ post 3 times. They commented on XYZ post 3 times. And they also posted about XYZ. I can put all of these things together, these digital breadcrumbs, to create a social signal. And there are 2 types that matter the most. The first is what someone is saying, meaning they actually posting content about a topic related to what we do. They might also be writing about, for us, for example, social listening, intent data, go-to-market workflows, or whatever it is. The point is they went out of their way to create something about that topic, which tells you it's top of mind for them. Second is someone engaging, right? Meaning they're liking or commenting on posts from perhaps a competitor, perhaps a thought leader, or even your own content. They didn't just scroll past it, they stopped, interacted with it. And that is a massive signal in of itself. No one forces someone to like or do something on social media. So someone's true inhibitions, whether you love social media or hate it, is their true inhibitions. And what I mean by that is you've got to sell on what is that person interested in, as opposed to what is the company trying to push? Because at the end of the day, even though the company is going towards a certain direction, if the ICP that you're selling into wants to go slightly different, they're going to side with those providers that are kind of angling themselves to make that person look good. As a result, we're stopping guessing anymore. They've already shown through their behavior that they're interested, and that changes everything about how the outreach actually performs and the responses that we're going to get, which I'm going to get to later in this video. So the tool that I use to capture all of this engagement and social activity is Triggerfy, which is my company's product. I built it specifically to solve this problem. Short little bit of history, but Triggerfy used to be an all signal platform. And then I realized that social signals were the absolute key for us to focus on, because the results were night and day versus any other intent or any other signal. So here we are. We're inside of the Triggerfy platform. Now, if we think about the use cases with Triggerfy, you can monitor anyone who is posting about XYZ, and that is across multiple different social media sites, right? It doesn't just start with LinkedIn, albeit that is a very, very popular and a good one. We're also looking at things across X and Reddit and YouTube and podcasts and Instagram. And I think we're just about to add Substack and TikTok, as well as GitHub and Stack Overflow. So it's like a really rich, diverse area of data. And I'm really actually seeing, to be honest, X gaining steam at the moment. But let's stick to LinkedIn. So how am I using it? Well, I'm basically searching for anytime someone is talking about a level of intent, right? So an example would be anyone talking about social signals or social signal linked to maybe like GTM, let's do that. So here we go. So we have now these people who are posting about social signals. Very good. They're actually peddling a competitor. So what I might want to do is this person, there's two signals in this, right? One, this person could be interesting to reach out to if they're ICP. And two, the individuals who are engaging with this competitor might also be interesting. Here's another one. So they're peddling social signals again as like a third party signal to use. And again, there's 6 people that are engaging with this, 18 people engaging with this, plus all of these people, right? We can see all of this data here who are engaging with this content. And there we go again, a massive one here, 157 likes, 65 comments. That's going to get us a lot of data inside of itself. So all I have to do then is set up and save this search. And this is going to run then every single day, finding anyone who is talking about high intent based topics. From there, what we can do is we can go and actually monitor and build a workflow to pull this engagement out. Okay. So now we're having a look at the actual workflows that I'm building out of the back of this. So let me break this down step by step. Earlier, we just created a search finding anyone talking about high-level intent-based searches. Now, one thing actually that I didn't show, which you know what, I'm going to go straight back and show you quickly, is we can also set up searches to monitor our competitors and our thought leaders, right? So if I search this search, I can input any company or profile URL into here and pull any of their posts that they're doing. Now, why would we do that? Well, let's go back to the workflows as well. So the use case thus far, to reiterate, is we're tracking intent-based searches, we're monitoring our own brand, we're tracking thought leaders, and we're tracking competitors. Now, this is a workflow that I have set up off the back of that. First of all, I'm using an agent if I'm running an intent-based search. So for example, the social signal one that we did earlier. This agent is going to review that post and ensure that it's actually talking about social signals specific to GTM. Boolean gets you so far. We need to use AI for the last little bit of leg just to qualify if it is. If it is, what I then want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to then actually start to collect the engagement. So if the post has more than 10 likes, I want to go ahead and start to pull all of those likes on that social media post before I enrich them, and then I can send them through to HeyReach or Instantly or whatever tool that you're using, right? What I'm also doing over here is I'm wanting to let the engagement cook. So if the post has got less than 10 engagements, maybe I picked it up, straight away, right? And I want to wait and let that post get more steam. Then I'm going to wait 24 hours before I go ahead and get the engagement from that post. And I'll do the same thing. I'll then enrich those individuals and send them through to a campaign. Now, that doesn't just run on intent-based searches. That's running anytime someone's engaging with my competitor. That's running anytime someone's engaging with thought leaders. That's running anytime someone engages with my brand. And this is what I mean when I say unlimited leads. The signals never stop flowing because people are always posting and always engaging. In B2B SaaS, people are posting and engaging on social media every single day. So the volume of the signal coming in is consistent. Sure, some days it might be massively higher for big posts, and some days it might be a little bit less, but it's an evergreen campaign that we're running. So I don't need to go and build a new list every single month or every single day or buy another database. The system essentially is feeding itself, and the leads keep coming in as long as the conversions are happening. By the way, if you want to check out Triggerfy, it's totally free. It's a pay-as-you-go plan. I'll leave the link in the description below, but let's keep going. So how do these agents qualify and enrich the leads automatically? So now I've got the signals, but the raw signals aren't just leads yet, right? Just because someone is posting about intent data, that doesn't mean that they're my ideal customer. They might just be name dropping a topic without actually caring about it. I need to make sure that they're ICP, and I need to make sure that the people engaging with that content are ICP. And this is essentially where I built this entire flow, which is running this particular process. Anytime I'm enriching an individual, I can actually start to filter out these individuals based on job title, based on company size. That's when I'm using what I call static parameters to actually work out if these individuals are more criteria or qualification based fits, which is typically how people are building their list generally, right? And this entire flow that we have, right? It's like a 15, 16 step node, is everything that I need. I don't need NA10. I don't need an additional workflow because this qualifies everything inside of itself. I could also set up a webhook to see if they ever reply back inside of HeyReach. And if they don't, I then go and build or send them through to Instantly. So I can go over email and then into Instantly as well. So let's break this flow down into a little bit more detail. The first step that we have is an agent step. So in this one, I'm monitoring, are people talking about Triggerfy or Triggerfy.io, right? So this is where I'm monitoring my own brand and I want to pull the engagement. Now, I'm using just 5 mini. You can use any model that you would want to inside of here, right? So you can go use any model from Anthropic, any model from OpenAI or Gemini. And you can also add your own API key in here to run these agent steps. These agents have the ability to search the web as well. So you can get them to do research should you wish that to happen. Now, the output formula for this agent is a Boolean, which basically then is hooked up to this if node that I have here. From there, I'm then going and pulling all of the engagement that that post is getting if the likes are greater than 10. If they're not, I'm waiting 24 hours, I'm letting it cook, and then I'm going ahead and getting all of that engagement from there as well. Now, the next step in this process is if you wanted to add more qualification, because they're engaging with my brand on this one, I like to reach out to anyone who is engaging with me. But let's say you were tracking a thought leader. What a lot of people are doing is they're using this enrichment node. This gets you their comprehensive LinkedIn profile, right? Company size, domain, website, their experience, everything that you would want to then run again another if node inside of here to check to see if they're ICP. Or we could use an agent node on a low model to check to see if they're senior within a certain kind of department. So senior marketing leaders, for example. If they are, then we're going to send them through to a Hey Reach campaign. Then we're going to send them through to a Smart Leads campaign or Instantly or whatever email system that you're using. So what happens from here? Well, when they go into a sequence of some sort, whether it's email or LinkedIn automation, we're not using generic crappy content. We're not saying, hey, I noticed that you engaged with X. That comes across as a little bit stalkery, right? We want to focus on the actual topic that they're engaging with. So a very common thing that I'm doing within these workflows is I'm using an agent node to also classify what the post is about. Give me the actual topic. So yes, it might be a competitor posting, but tell me what specifically they're posting about. For example, in our use case, it could be something around social signals. That's the topic of the post. And so in this case, we want to say, hey, I can see that you're really interested in social signals, and then you build value off the back of that. How I typically do that is I have a lead magnet associated to the topic that they're engaging with, and I share that lead magnet, or I ask them, do we want to see this kind of 3-pager that I built on how you can leverage social signals? Typically, everyone comes back saying yes, because you know that they're interested, and therefore, why wouldn't they want to see something which goes even further than the post that they engaged with? And then obviously you're subtly selling throughout that as well. What this means is the campaign messaging is tailored to intent data, because that's this entire flow is built around. So these people we already thinking about the topic, and now they're hearing from someone who can actually help them with it, right? Like that's the whole idea. I told you guys at the start of this video, but this agent was live for 1 day and booked me 3 meetings completely on autopilot without any manual prospecting, list building, or copying pasting messages, which is incredibly high leverage. And this is just one agent I built around one particular use case, tracking high intent social listening searches. I have 10 different social listening searches, 10 different competitors, and I'm also monitoring my own band. So you do the maths on the amount of meetings that we're booking. Now, if you want to get started building something like this, the first step is getting the signal data that makes the whole thing work. So I'll leave a link to Triggerfy at the top of the description. You can start with 250 free credits and set up your first social listening search today. Again, it will be at the top link in the description, so go click it. And if you want to see how I book over 100 sales calls per month using AI, then watch this video next.